Welcome back.
What's up, y'all? Happy New Year. First and foremost, it's 2022. Welcome back. All right, I hope you and your family had an amazing holiday season, that you are safe. And if not, I'm definitely praying for you. I have like a corporate prayer that I do for the world. So I hope that you all are safe and doing well. And I'm excited for 2022. Me and one of my good friends and sorors, we always have a word for each year. Last couple years, we kind of slacked off. This year, my word is restore, and that has a whole bunch of stuff that I'm expecting God to do in this year. But I hope that you pick a word and that you go into this year with intention. Now, to kick off this year, I'm going to start with a Q&A. I'm looking down at my phone right here because I have my questions that I have gotten. I actually have a whole production sheet of the videos I'm going to do, and instead of making each question a video, I'm going to kind of do a mashup for this one because they're all really good questions, and I want to kind of do a rapid fire and you all get my very first response on some of these things. Now, some of them I may direct to other resources, but for the most part, I'm going to answer and to the best of my ability. Oh, but before I get started, Mase Nashville has some things coming out this year. We're relaunching the online stores, so those of you who said that they wanted hoodies in different colors, you'll be able to get those. I also have Mase Schoolhouse, and that is a place where all of the resources like PDF, downloads, templates, if you want to quit your job, all of that stuff is in there. So that has originally just been my Get Your Business Together course, but we're expanding. Okay, we're expanding in 2022. So I'm gonna put all the links down below or wherever you're watching this video. Just go to MaseNashville.com and you can click out to go to the schoolhouse or even go shop and get you a hoodie when everything is available. So I'm gonna keep saying that just so you know that's what we got going on. So come on and be a part of the movement. All right. So let's get started on these questions. All right. The very first one is, how do you get into social media marketing? Okay, so I actually did a video on this about 4 or 5 years ago on YouTube. I will link it below, or I'll put it in the little title card, which may be right here or over here. I don't know which side it goes on right now. But basically, I kind of walked through the various ways you can get into digital marketing, specifically within social media. I went into social media through a job. So my very first job, although it was at a radio marketing and promotions company, I was a marketing assistant that really handles the social media for some of the artists and for the company brand. So social media kind of is about proof of concept, and so is digital marketing as a whole. The very first thing I ask people when they approach me about being in social media or digital marketing is, what are you doing for yourself? And that still reigns true today, because if I can see that you're putting out a blog consistently or a video consistently, or your socials are consistent, even like not even about the followers, but actually putting out consistent content, then I can get a gauge of your work, and that can really be your portfolio. So don't overlook what you're doing for yourself, or even maybe the beginner stages of having a client, because that is a great testament of what you can do for others. The next question, you work with some of your friends and sorority members. Does that ever get tricky? I would say no, because you want to work with people that respect you. There's a saying that says, go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. And so I've had to learn how to have conversations, not from a level of, you didn't do this for me, but from a level of, hey, this is disrespectful to my gift, and I am treating you like a client. Now, with that, if you're going to go that route, you also have to make sure that you're consistently delivering. Some people I've been able to work with because we just work well together. So they know when I'm having an off day, I don't have to overcompensate or be extra to do what I normally do for other clients. You just have to gauge each client when you're working with your friends or sorority sisters or fraternity brothers or whoever that you already know. And family members too. If you work with family, you have to maintain a level of professionalism, because this is your business, and if you treat it like it's a hobby, then they're going to treat you like what you're doing is a hobby. This one, okay. Does being a young Black woman make people approach you differently in business? Yeah, honestly. Sometimes I go through round and round and round of contract negotiations, and knowing if I was a white male, I wouldn't be going through some of these things, or I would assume that I wouldn't be going through some of these things. Sometimes it works to my advantage. Sometimes people want to work with a woman-owned business or person of color who owns a business. They want that to spread the work around. But yeah, I wouldn't lie and say that it doesn't happen. there's some times where I'm like, okay, you wouldn't be doing this. And people are surprised sometimes when I come in very assertive. And I'm like, no, this is my rate. And this is what we can do. And this is the testimonials, or this is the proposal. And so I try to focus on the work, not necessarily the race. So if you want to work with me because I do good work and my team does great work, then that's dope. If not, then you're not my people. And so the whole goal where you celebrate not tolerated thing reigns supreme, because I want to work with people who want to work with me because I'm talented and I'm gifted, and my team is talented and we're gifted and we produce great work. Like, that's why I want to work with people. But if that's not your motive for working with me, it will soon be revealed as we're talking and going through our initial conversation. And then I can make the decision as a business owner if I want to work with you or not. You can make the decision as the person that's submitting the request if you want to work with us or not, and see if we're a good fit. Sometimes we overlook being a good fit. Just because I can do the job and you have a need of the job that I can do doesn't mean that we should work together. I may want to refer you to somebody else, or I just may not be the one to work for you. And sometimes that happens. And so you got to respect the game in that sense, that you know yourself and you know what you can bring to the table. And if people don't see that because of who you are, that's their problem. It's not yours. This is a long one. Okay. Hey, Vannesia, congrats on 5 years of Mase. I think it's so cool that you were able to start your own business and watch it thrive. I'm reaching out to see what made you decide to do your own thing like that. In my professional career, I have noticed that I have the desire to start my own brand and be my own boss. I'm just not sure what that process is like or what steps are necessary to do so. Okay, so first things first is Google, right? So Google University, there are plenty of downloadable things that allow you to learn how to start a business, what the necessary steps are. Shameless plug right here. If you go to moxenashville.com, you can actually go to the Mase Schoolhouse, and there's a program called Get Your Business Together, and it's a program to give you the tools to start your business in one day. And so I walk through, literally, I'm the instructor. I walk through in about 90 minutes how to start your business from top to bottom and really set it up. So there's resources out there as far as starting. Now, the motivational part of what made me start a business, honestly, there was no growth at the company that I was at. And I was already getting hit up on the side to do different things like press releases or different write-ups. And I was already blogging and getting featured places. So I was kind of making my way. I also was already in grad school, and I knew that if I got a master's degree, I could make nowhere near what I was making at that job. And so I don't knock the job. It was a great entry point to the music industry. All the jobs that I've ever had are stepping stones. And I looked at it as such. And so you just know when the season closes. And so I knew that was my time, that I had done the work there, and that I had gotten everything I could get from the job at that point, other than just security. And then also from financial tip, I didn't negotiate well in the beginning of my career. And so I knew even though I would get raises, I never could financially close that gap, because if you start low, the growth that you get is going to be so incremental unless you're bringing in money to supplement the gap that you have. So I just knew financially where I wanted to be at a certain point in my life, that wouldn't happen if I kept going on this growth track. So ambiguous opportunities for growth aren't real opportunities. And then financially, I didn't see myself growing. And then also I was getting hit up on the side. So that was like the three things. And also too, I had peace about it. I was really, really nervous to leave, but I woke up one day and I felt God give me this overwhelming peace of leaving my job and not worrying about it. So that was really the kicker. Okay. Hey, Soror. I'm starting a YouTube series, and I would love to get insight on how to get specific guests on the show. Do you consult for something like that? If so, what is your rate? First of all, shout out to you, Soror, for asking about my rate. See, she came correct. Like, what can I pay you? Okay. So starting a YouTube series and getting guests on the show. So that's pitching. How we do it with the podcast, I have a podcast called the Entourage Podcast with two of my homies, and one of them is actually a publicist, so he knows a lot of people anyway, and the three of us have all worked in the entertainment industry, so it's an entertainment-based podcast, so we kind of knew people. But if you're pitching from scratch, I would say make a pitch deck. If you don't know what that is, Google what it is. It's basically a PDF presentation or a Canva presentation or a PowerPoint presentation of what you're all about, and then look in like the Twitter bios or the Instagram bios for where these people's email addresses are, or maybe their representation. Sometimes they have managers, or sometimes they have publicists that you can reach out to. And then craft an email that explains why you want to feature the person, what your podcast or YouTube series or blog post or whatever is all about, and if they would be willing to grant you an interview. People are usually willing to give their time for some publicity. And then also one thing that we do with the Entourage podcast is that we actually make them marketing assets, and we send them sample posts that they can post when their episode goes live. Like, we make it very easy to be a guest on our show and to celebrate. And so that's also what you want to portray, is that you want to celebrate these people, and the audience that you are sharing their story with or sharing their expertise with, they're going to benefit from that. If you have numbers, like your subscriber numbers or your download numbers, your audience numbers, you may want to put that in the deck that you're building or the presentation that you're building. If you're just starting, there's no shame in that either. Just say you're in the beginning stages and ask them for their time. Make sure you test everything out so it's an enjoyable experience, but also be open to them, doing a 10-minute Zoom call, or maybe sending you an audio note or something like that. I think that was it. That was actually a quick video. I hope that provided some insight. If you have a question, I would love to answer it. That's kind of like the easiest thing for me to do. So if you have a question, shoot me a DM, wherever you see this video, or if you are watching on YouTube, you can click the link down below and send a message to hello@moxenashville.com, and we'll go ahead and get it answered for you. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a fabulous week, and remember to always speak life. Peace.